Shri Karti Chidambaram.
Sir, in 2005, when the RTI Act came out, it was a landmark in Indian legislation. In a country where the government and citizens are far removed from each other and the decision-making process remains an elusive mystery to most citizens who do not involve themselves in mechanisms of the government, the RTI Act was a breath of fresh air. It opened up decision-making process to public scrutiny, and over 2.5 crore applications have been filed till date in the country to persistently ask questions across the spectrum, from village ration shops to questioning the government on unemployment figures and demonetization. The Act brought about a revolution and demanded accountability at a level that has never ever existed before. As such, it is not surprising that this kind of power vesting in the hands of common citizens makes the government uncomfortable, and people are getting killed for asking these uncomfortable questions. As my senior colleague Shri Shashi Tharoor said, over 80 activists have been killed in India for asking uncomfortable questions. There has also been a rise in the number of RTI applications that are being rejected by public authorities who outright refuse to disclose information which people want to know. In 2016, over 64,000 applications were rejected. The government's non-committal attitude to public accountability is also reflected in its move to slash the budgetary allocations to the Central Information Commission by 38% in this year's union budget. Sir, trust in government and politics is at an all-time low, and the key to restoring trust is transparency. People need to be able to see what their elected representatives are doing, how and why decisions are taken. The RTI Act kicked off a movement from a purely representative democracy to a participative one. Democracy is not about just voting for your favorite party or preferred MP candidate to elect the Prime Minister of your choice. It is about participating actively in the decision-making process. It is incumbent upon each government to strengthen the foundations of accountability laid down by the RTI Act and improve upon them. The amendment bill proposed by the Minister and this government, however, is a step in the opposite direction and threatens not just to undo an over decades worth of progress, but whittle and decimate the very spirit of RTI. It is regressive. In a bureaucracy that is filled with the Humphrey Applebys of this world, who are masters in obfuscation, the proposed amendments block out the fresh air and the ray of sunshine, accountability and transparency in a system riddled with inefficiency. Sir, I oppose the bill on the following grounds. My senior colleague, Dr. Tharoor, my erudite colleague, Ms. Raja, and Saugata Dada have all enunciated the same points, but I still like to reiterate them. Point number one, it undermines the independence and autonomy of the information commissioners. How is the institution supposed to do its job when the terms and conditions of the service of its officers is directly controlled by the government? This is an attempt by the government to structurally shut down the organs of a free society. Point number two, the centre seeks to usurp powers to decide the salary, tenure and allowances of information commissioners of the state information commissions. However, the salaries of the SIC is paid out of consolidated funds of the respective states. Neither Parliament nor the centre has the power or control over the consolidated fund of any state. This is an attempt to kill not only the citizens' right to know, but also the federal structure of our country. Number three, there was a glaring absence of any kind of public consultation. In the past, when the text of the RTI bill was drafted in 2004 and the RTI rules were drafted in 2005 and replaced in 2012, and more recently, when they sought to be amended in April 2017, the draft proposals were placed in the public domain for consultation. However, this time around, not only were there no consultations with involved stakeholders, civil society organizations and the like, but also the House woke up to the news of the bill for the first time on the very day it was introduced. How can a bill that proposes to significantly alter fundamental rights of citizens be introduced without consultation with the stakeholders themselves? Now, point number four, This is a direct violation of the pre-legislative consultation policy of 2014, which mandates that a draft bill be placed in the public domain for 30 days. Point number 5. The bill has been the trend this session, bypass any examination by the standing committee. This demonstrates the desperation to pass the amendments even without proper parliamentary scrutiny. Point number 6. The government suggests that since the Election Commission is a constitutional body and the Information Commission is a statutory body, their service conditions must also be different. There is, however, nothing preventing any law from securing tenure and protecting terms of service of statutory regulatory bodies by equating them to functionaries of constitutional bodies. In fact, this practice is being followed for various institutions, including the CDC and the Lok Sabha. Therefore, the very reason given by the government for the proposed amendments is fallacious. Point number 7. The amendments would affect the way the right to information is enforced. The Right to Information Act, as it stands today, is used in a very decentralized manner. The government has found a centralized way of incapacitating the law. When the commissions and their independence are compromised, where does the citizen go for the enforcement of his right to information? Sir, the ruling party, the BJP, has 303 MPs in this House. 303 has many connotations. IPC 303, many lawyers know here it refers to the death sentence. I do hope the government will not use their 303 to give a death sentence to the spirit of RTI. There is a Commissioner of Police in this House. 303 also refers to the standard rifle which is issued to the constables of even today. The 303 rifle was used by the brutal General Dyer to commit the horrendous massacre of Jallianwala Bagh. I hope the government does not use this 303 to massacre the spirit of the RTI. Please, Mr. Minister, withdraw this bill.
Thank you, Karti Chidambaram.